Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. I'm Hoang, I'm from Vietnam, and I'm gonna speak about a very interesting topic, how to phase out coal in my country, Vietnam. So in 1997, which is 22 years ago, against all odds in the world, I was the first Vietnamese person ever to set foot on Antarctica, the first person ever. And it was like a UN expedition for global warming, climate change, but 20 years ago, like there was no even internet in my country. So it was the first time ever that I had heard all this global warming and climate change and sea level rise, which was so weird to me. And it was so hard for me to see any connection between Antarctica and my country, Vietnam, 1,000 miles away. Well, but now I'm here, standing here, talking about climate change in my country, just because we are no longer at war, but we are with another kind of war, the war with climate change. So Vietnam is one of those lowland coastal countries badly affected by sea level rise. And more than that, we are badly hit by record heat year after year. We are seeing more frequent and severe tropical typhoons hitting all the rural and mountainous areas and urban areas as well, killing thousands. And Mekong Delta, which is the main agriculture area for the whole country, we are exporting a lot of rice from there, is among the 3 most vulnerable deltas in the world by climate change. And the sad news is we just got the finding from some survey, some research recently, and Mekong Delta right now is only 0.8 meters above sea level rise. The sea level is rising up. And the delta is sinking just because of the water extraction and a lot of unsustainable development, the hydro dam and a lot of other crises going on. And our farmers are struggling with prolonged drought and salinization and sand mining, and sea level rise will threaten to relocate about 12 million people out of their homes by 2050. And that picture, it has now become a very common scene in the Mekong Delta, in the cities, including Ho Chi Minh City, where I live. So this is how it happens every year when the high tide, with the moon, like that kind of thing. So the only person who is happy with this kind of thing is my 12-year-old son, when he can skip classes, when his school is inundated every month like that. So we are doomed. And on top of that, Hanoi, which is the capital city, and Ho Chi Minh City, the economic center of the country, is suffering from the worst air quality in the last 3 years. We are now going forward to the Beijing a few years back. And everyone has heard about the global climate strike, right? That happened last September. I think the youth of Norway were organizing some amazing activities. So in Vietnam, because of the political context, we couldn't organize like huge protests. But small, young, brave young people like this still took the street. And their banners, their messages are all about air pollution and record heat. And that's sad because the young people are now scared for their future. Still, despite all that, our government is planning to increase the coal capacity by 4 times by 2030. We are right now the 3rd largest coal capacity developer in the world, only after China and India. And that's a record that I'm not super proud of. We used to have only 20 coal plants in 2016, focusing mostly in the north. By 2030, we will have 64 plants, including 14 in the Mekong Delta, which I just explained, the main agriculture, the main rice bowl of the whole country and export. And it's where I live, so I'm a little worried right now. And so 2030, we will burn 129 million tons of coal. And coal power will make up 53% of the total power generation in the country. And that is really scary because the whole world has the trend to go forward to renewable energy. We are going against the current, back to coal. And so this is scary because even the World Bank president, Jim Yong Kim, said if Vietnam goes forward with 40 gigawatts of coal, if the entire region, which is Southeast Asia, implements their coal-based plans right now, I think we are finished. I think you are finished. And we are finished too, because by 2030, there will be 400 million tons of coal ash. This is coal ash. And we don't know what to do with that. Right now, we just have like 60 million tons, and it's piling up everywhere, and it's flying, and it gets into our lungs, killing people. So, of course, Vietnam has been heavily criticized by the climate defenders community, saying, oh, you're burning coal, you're heating up the planet. And I'm also among those people campaigning against phasing out coal in Vietnam. But probably we have to listen to what other Vietnamese people say, right? I should tell you one side story. So before I boarded this plane to Oslo, in the boarding room I was bored and I was like Googling around, and I found out that the GDP per capita of Norway is 81,000 US dollars. That of Vietnam is $2,500, which is like, such a long distance. So being a poor country, developing country, a poor country, I don't know if you have ever been poor, but when you are poor, you just want cheap stuff. You don't want the expensive, luxurious, renewable energy because that's expensive. So that's what the majority of the Vietnamese people and Vietnamese government think. Coal is cheap. Coal is key to economic growth. And when you're a poor country, you want economic growth no matter what. So renewable energy, let's Norway do it. We can't afford it. And what else do they say? They say Westerners, developed countries, are hypocrites. They are the ones who are responsible for all the global emission. And they have caused climate change. And now they are asking developing countries like Vietnam to sacrifice their growth for the global climate. They would not do that. So that's what the arguments that I have been dealing with, coping with the last 10 years. I've been doing all this campaigning. It's hopeless, but I still have my own hope. I still have my own aspiration for my country, Vietnam. I think that Vietnam, being a developing country, we have such a big privilege to learn from the previous mistakes of the previous developed countries that they made like 100 years ago. I think we can really learn from those lessons, and also with the proper support and strategic partnership with other countries, with renewable energy leaders, for example, like Norway or Germany, we can really do and become a leader in renewable energy because we have so much sun and wind in the country. Like Saigon, Ho Chi Minh City, where I live, there are only hot days and very hot days. We have so much sun, so let's exploit that. And the good news is, yes, renewable energy companies do see those potential, and they are coming to Vietnam, including the Scatec solar company. I don't know if they are here now, I don't know if they're here, but they are here, and they signed a deal in May for a 485 megawatt solar project in Vietnam, and they are proposing to invest more. And I want to see more of Scatec solars coming to Vietnam from Norway or from any EU countries. You are doing great for the climate action. I think you can do more. You can do a lot more. You have so much potential. You have so much resources. So think about the developing countries in Vietnam who have the will. We really want to make the change. We want to stop climate change. We just need a little bit of support. So work with us. This is such a very nice picture. I just Googled it again and found this wonderful picture of my prime minister and the beautiful lady sitting here. And this handshake means a lot to me. This is how we're gonna bypass all the hypocrisy or judging or blaming who is responsible for this. I think we can work together because we all want good things. We all want sustainable future for us all. So what you can do, you can really provide us with technology support. You can subsidize us when people say that solar is expensive. Make it cheap. Then people won't buy it. You can influence international financiers to divest from coal, and then you can engage a lot more investors to invest in renewable energy in Vietnam. Again, we have lots of potential, and our people are hardworking. And what else? You can partner with local NGOs like us, because we are working with the community, we know what they want, and we can connect them to support you as well. I think we all, developed countries or developing countries, we all deserve good health, good air, clean energy, and together we can secure a sustainable future for all. Thank you very much.